Hello class, my name is Mario Torres. Okay, for my project, I will be I'm working my paper on immigration to America, the process of immigration to America through the eyes of many immigrants from Russia, Poland. We're just talking about the transition and leaving the families and starting new lives in America. Okay, the definition of freedom was first lived through the progression of immigration. All right, the freedom is what gave the need to become an American. As each individual, as well as their families, stormed through the process of migration with becoming a citizen, many stories were told by those who lived through the process of good and bad. One of the first articles I found was the diary of a German, Michael Radke. Michael Radke's diary was in the possession of a family member, Judith Radke. Recently, I guess not recently, but in 1982, they had it translated and it was published in 1982 once again. Okay. Michael Radke was the son of a German farmer. In his diary, he wrote about the strength he gained from watching his father farm, just being able to survive on his own. Michael Radke also wrote about the many marriages from the transition of coming to America, um, the many marriages and children, as well as the deaths of a few wives and children. As he shares words of fighting through the several trials of life, he then writes about traveling on a steamboat. So he was one of the immigrants that came from the steamboats. Okay. And being a survivor on the free land, the land of the free. Okay. The second article I found was actually a letter written from to the London Times. Okay. This immigrant well, he was actually an Irish immigrant, right? Okay. In 1850. His escape or refuge was merely a flight away from the Irish famine, as we discussed in class. You know, the potato famine. Okay, in his letter, he dismisses his arrival as well as his name. Okay, and it may be an account of it. It may be an account of his prestige. I figure he probably came from a family with money or something, because upon his arrival to America, he purchased 120 acres of land at $5 an acre. I mean, come on, really? I guess he probably had some money or was saving. Okay, the third article I chose was the Diary Post. From the only difference was in age. Okay, the Diary Post belonged to a 13-year-old girl, Jewish girl, Mary Antin. Okay, she was from the Russian Empire. In 1894, she stated she left home for the Promised Land. Being a young Jewish girl, Mary Antin's living conditions were harsh, as well as poverty-stricken. Making it day to day, Mary and her family stuck it through the starvation with the hopes of the return of her father, who migrated to Boston in 1892. So just being the Irish man who left to America before his family to make sure it was safe. And so they just waited for his arrival, but never came his arrival until she left on her own. In the fourth diary, or I'll just get more in detail in my paper. Okay, in the fourth diary post I found was from another 13-year-old girl, Sadie Frown from Poland. In her diary, she writes about how she immigrated to America with her mother following the death of her father. In Sadie's diary, she talks about the transition of becoming an American, where she is now getting paid for the work she does. Okay, the similarity in all those posts was the escape in hopes of a new beginning. The name American was a connotation of strength and freedom immigrating to America. With immigrating to America, it was just like stated, the promised land where dreams come true, or that land of the free, the home of the brave, with their hopes of change. The many immigrants that came, like excluding even the Mexican Americans, came with a lot of story, lot of hardships, and a lot of meaning, a lot of heart and soul. I mean, in one of my posts, I write about a transition, or just the hard times of building the railroads, helping build the roads, doing how you call it, the braceros with cultivating. I mean, it was a hard time. They had to go through all these um what do you call it? Going through these a lot. Oh boy, I'm getting stuck. Excuse me, but yeah. In my paper, I'm write more in detail about the hardships of just migrating. It's hardships now that I've seen from just talking to different people. I'm planning also to add another article or another diary post I found actually today, going to USC. I was talking to some girl whose grandmother and mother just wrote a book or an article, and I'm looking forward to reading it, as well as adding it to my paper. Just the diary of the hardships of their transition to the new land. Um, I know this is gonna be a good paper. I plan on making it a good paper, being the final for the this class, which was very enjoyable and very not I learned a lot from this class. Learned about myself and my family, and it's just the hard times, and just having a new perspective to life and just people. Thank you, and that's it.